Looking around, I finally see I think I need a change. The rat race, I wanna flee, my world I'll rearrange. I'm getting back to the roots of how it's meant to be. Growing gardens, picking fruit, racing livestock, living free. It's a modern homestead. Build a modern homestead.
Hello and welcome to the Modern Homesteading Podcast. This is your host, Rachel Jameson. Today I am doing a little bit of an update on my own homestead, and then we're moving into a short interview. I think you're going to really enjoy this. I am excited to share it with you, but first I wanted to give you an update on my homestead. Last Saturday we had 80 degrees, which is pretty unheard of up here this far north in northern Michigan in April. And it was hot and it was sunny and we don't have leaves yet. So we did work, but we had nowhere to hide in the shade. But by Monday morning, we had tons of snow. I mean, relatively. We had several inches of white, wet snow all over my gardens. And it was pretty discouraging because we were then in the 30s and it was cold. It's amazing how quickly you acclimate to that warm weather. Thankfully, the garlic, irises, and lilies did just fine through all of that. And they actually enjoyed a little bit of the moisture and are doing really well. They've come up quite a bit in the last couple of weeks, and the snow is all melted now. I think today it was about 55 degrees on my way home, which is much more normal for this time of year. I'm kind of done with the swings that we keep getting. I do have plants taking over the basement under my grow lights, and I am really ready to get a lot of them outside. We will see how much work I get done. We keep getting snow, so it's been hard for me to get work done. And then, of course, I've been busy working and I've been sick, which I am at about 80%. So hopefully that continues to improve. I finally stopped coughing for the most part, so that is good. So this weekend, I may risk putting out some beets, some carrots, potatoes, and onions if the ground temps are high enough for me to do it. I do have some hoops and some Agrabah row cover that I have used many years and years past. You know, it doesn't work fantastically if it's going to be really, really cold, but it does give me a few degrees, especially if we're hovering at that just above freezing level. I can probably risk putting some onion plants and stuff out. We'll see. And I will keep you updated when we have another podcast. I also decided to do a book recommendation today. And in light of the interview that you will be hearing, I decided that I would recommend a children's-ish book, actually a series or several books. This series of books is really quite well known. And yet a lot of people think of it as a children's book, but I actually read it for the first time as an adult. And that is the Little House on the Prairie series. Believe it or not, all through my childhood, I had actually never read the books until I became an adult and I read them to my children when I was homeschooling them. So I had actually seen all of them, the TV show with Michael Landon and Melissa Gilbert. I had watched it several times as a child and I absolutely loved it. I was actually kind of obsessed with it. And it's actually part of why the name for my blog, my very irregular blog, is called Re-Wilder Life, because of Laura Ingalls Wilder. So that gives you a little take into how much I love this series. But the Little House series also has an accompaniment of books. One is on crafts, one is on cooking, and there is also a homeschool curriculum called the Prairie Primer, which we also used in our homeschooling. And I think one of the most fitting books for the interview that you're about to hear would be Farmer Boy. Farmer Boy is actually about Almanzo, who she will later marry. That book is so much about food. It's just about food, a lot of food, how much food they ate, how they preserved it, how they put it in the cellar. The parents went away and they ate a bunch of food out of, I think it was mostly sugary things that they ate out of the cellar while their parents were gone. But it is just a really good book. And all of those books are a great series. And like I said, it's actually got me interested again. And like, maybe I should listen to those on audiobook because I just really enjoy them. And they're just a really fun read. I have also read several autobiographies about Laura Ingalls Wilder. And we have actually gone and visited a couple of her homesteads. Our oldest daughter plays the fiddle totally because she was inspired by Pa Ingalls. So that's a little tidbit of information about us. So anyways, that whole book series is one of my recommendations for the podcast listeners. And you don't have to be a child to enjoy it. So now I am going to introduce to you Bella and her grandma, Anita. I hope that you enjoy this podcast. I am speaking to Bella, who is part of the Homestead Front Porch group. And Bella, how old are you?
I'm 11 years old. I'm going to turn 12 on July 1st.
Okay. Wow. So, what got you interested in baking and cooking?
Getting to help my grandmother in the kitchen when she was cooking.
That's always fun to help grandma. I have great memories of helping my grandma cook things in the kitchen. What made you decide to tackle using a wood cook stove? Or is that what your grandmother uses?
When my grandmother bought it, I decided I would want to try it because I really liked baking. Around the time she got it, I was really interested in it.
Is it hard to use? Is it really different?
It's easy to use, but it gets really, really hot when you're using it. So this summer, we're going to switch to a antique gas stove outside.
Oh, okay, that makes sense because you guys live in the South. Where it gets warm in the summer. Yeah. Not that it doesn't get hot here, but you guys definitely get warmer where you are. So you prefer using that over a regular stove?
I think they're about the same, but I like using the wood cook stove better because I think it is a little bit easier to use than the regular stove.
That is really fun. I think they're so beautiful. I just love them. So what is, I know this isn't part of the questions I sent to you, but do you have a favorite thing that you like to bake in it?
I like to bake cakes in it a lot, but besides that, I haven't made much else besides cakes in it. But I do really like making them because I think it's a lot easier to tell if they're ready because the outside is kind of clear where you can look into the oven.
Oh, neat. Very cool. That's really cool. What got you interested in doing this? Just this spending time with your grandma?
Yes, ma'am. I like to spend time with her, and I come to her house every day after school, and we usually bake something.
That's really sweet. That's a blessing. I saw your beautiful red bud cake. Is that what it's called?
Yes, ma'am.
And I had never heard of using red bud, which is a tree, right?
Yes, ma'am.
To bake with. What does it taste like?
It tastes kind of like a lemon, kind of. It's lemony.
That sounds really good. That sounds really, really good. Wow. I also read that you might be doing some other things besides baking on the homestead. Did you have some plans for some other things this summer?
We may be posting about our raised beds that we're doing.
Okay. Yeah. I saw those. What are those made out of? Because with the podcast, people only hear our voices. So
They're made out of metal, but they have many different layers inside of them.
oh, cool. Okay. So what are you putting inside of them?
Bella didn't do much of the loading of the beds, but we put a layer of cardboard on the bottom, and then the rotting limbs, a layer, and then we have a sawmill. So we added a layer of sawdust shavings to that, and then dirt from around the barn and manure and topsoil.
Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you excited to plant in there?
We've planted some peppers and tomatoes and some flowers in there, and we're probably going to plant a lot more stuff, but I'm not really sure yet what we are going to plant in there.
Okay.
We are going to use most of it to bake with, but what we don't use to bake or cook with, I may take to the farmer's market to sell.
Oh, that's really cool. So you're considering getting into the farmer's market?
Yes, ma'am. My grandfather does it, and last year I sold blueberries with him, and I'm probably going to do it again this year because I really liked it.
Okay. Are you going to try and sell any of your baked goods? Or I know each state is different. Maybe it's not allowed there.
It is allowed, but I don't think I'll sell any of the baked stuff.
Okay. And when you did that last year, did you really enjoy doing that, selling? That's
yes,
really
ma'am,
cool.
I really did like it.
And
You get to meet a lot.
Okay.
You get to meet a lot of new people when you do it.
I bet. That is really neat. So you're turning all of this, your hobbies and your homesteading, you're turning into a business too. And you're only 11. That's really cool. Do you plan on preserving any of that or just cooking with it?
We'll probably preserve some of it.
Okay. Do you have other plans besides for your little homestead adventure? Do you have plans on getting any chickens or any other homesteading activities like sewing or anything like that?
We actually have a lot of chickens, and I have some horses and other pets here that I like to take care of.
That's cool. My daughter loves horses still. So horses are beautiful creatures. So what are your hopes for the future for this? Do you hope to keep expanding on this and learning more things and eventually doing this as you grow up?
I hope that I'll eventually get a lot better at it because I'm kind of new to it. I haven't done it that long. And I hope that will inspire a lot of kids who don't think they're good at it to at least try it and see if they like it or not.
Well, I think you're going to inspire a lot of adults that are just learning things too, because I don't know how to cook on a wood cook stove. And I think you're inspirational to everybody. That's really cool. So you guys are also posting, I'm sure and then your grandma's helping you with this. You have a small YouTube channel, is it? And then maybe a blog?
Blog post.
We have a blog post.
Okay.
The website's at cozykitchenwoodstove.com, where we post things about our raised beds and different recipes that I used to cook and different stuff like that.
That's really cool. I follow you, and so I've been enjoying watching you cook and make and also I thought it was really cool because one of the things I like to do is go to the woods and harvest things from the woods for food. And that's why I really liked your red bud cake recipe, because I thought that was really neat. It's called wild crafting or foraging, some people call it. So I thought that was a really neat recipe that you made. I am really excited that you came and chatted with me today. And I look forward to watching you learn all of these things and share them with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited about getting the outdoor kitchen up and running, and I hope to do a lot more of the foraging this summer. I've been trying to get Bella into that. The redbud cake was the first one we tried.
That's really
There's
cool.
a lot of stuff around here. Really, I tell everybody, I think there's more that you need to learn what you can eat, because you can eat most of it. So it's easier to learn what you can eat than it is what you can. So we're really excited about that this summer.
That is really cool. And what is your outdoor kitchen going to consist of?
It's a big screened, it used to be a carport, an outdoor carport, and my husband boarded up and screened around the top. And then we have an antique gas stove in there, and bars and a bed swing. And we're really excited about. We have started about 3 years ago, and he broke his leg.
Oh dear.
So we're just now getting it up and running. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, because you guys are in Mississippi, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
so it's definitely hot and humid.
Cannot think about cranking up that wood stove. We could barely run it this winter. Our winter was really mild, and so it was very hot in here. So we're just gonna move outside for the summer.
Yeah, it's interesting. All the way up in the UP of Michigan, which is even more north than I am, there's an old fort up there, and they had an outdoors kitchen set up, even up there where it's cool. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah. I love the idea of outdoor kitchen.
We have to have the screen down here. Mosquitoes are so bad.
Oh,
but we'll post hopefully.
Yeah, that would be great. You guys it's fun to watch you guys and everything that you're doing. It's different. It's different than what we normally see for a lot of the homesteading stuff. And I'm really enjoying it. I feel like it's a step back in time. And of course, I enjoy that, because I've always liked like the Little House, the Laura Ingalls, that kind of thing. And I have a friend that does a lot of that, which I believe I sent you a link to her. She does a lot of historical cooking.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
On a wood cook stove. Yeah. Yeah. So
we just got our wood stove. This we've had wood for 25 years, but it was not a cook stove.
Okay.
So we ordered this one, and we had moved in the newer farmhouse, and it did not have wood heat, and I just had to have wood heat. And I thought, if I'm going to do that, I might as well get one that we can cook on too. So we're really enjoying it.
And they're like a piece of art. They're so beautiful.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
and the
so
old ones are beautiful, but I decided to go ahead with the newer one because of the emissions and that kind of stuff.
I still think they're a work of art, though. They're just beautiful to me.
They are.
Yeah.
This one came out of Quebec, so
I
shopped a lot. Yeah, and we got free shipping, and we could not have started to have it shipped to Mississippi, but we're really pleased with it. Some people were having trouble getting this particular model to bake, but then we got on and worked with it, and you got to get the temperature up really hot before you even think about starting to cook. So once you get the temperature up, and I contacted the company, because you just basically got to open all the air intakes and get that fire roaring. And I think people were afraid they would damage their stove, but the company said no. They said,
so is it cast iron then?
Part of it is cast.
Okay.
It has cast doors, and part of, is the other part steel then? The firebox is cast, and the doors are cast, and they have tempered glass in them, and then it has fire bricks lining the oven, and then the rest of it's heavy gauge steel.
Interesting. So do you mind saying what brand it is?
Oh, it's what is that, Lynn? J.A. Roby Cuisinaire.
Oh wow! Okay, I have not heard of that one, but then I haven't looked real closely at the newer ones. I've only seen a lot of older ones, so very cool.
I shopped a long time because it's well, I compare it to maybe a new central unit. It would be less expensive, than to put in a heating unit. So, and we're here at the farm. We have several hundred acres of just wood, so we can have our own wood. We don't have to pay for the wood. And it's
Okay. That's cool. Wow. That is so neat. This is exactly what I would love to do, something like this at my farm, but I don't know if it's in the future plans or not, but I would love to do that. So I'm following what you're doing, and it's getting my wheels thinking how I could make it work at my house. So yeah.
Well, we're both retired, so we have an income. We don't have to worry, about that.
Right.
So basically, Lynn said we worked all that time to do what we wanted to do then, be able to in our older age. So
yeah, that's really neat. So you guys you have a working farm currently?
Most of our cropland is leased out, but we have a huge garden and pastures and that kind of thing. And we've got probably 20 chickens. I gathered 80 eggs yesterday and had enough left to give some neighbors some. So
I think it's just so cool how you're passing on the legacy to your granddaughter. And yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, she really, our older one's into sports, but this is my artsy one here. So, and she's been cooking with me since she was 3 or 4 years old. So it's not new to her. So she's enjoying it. She says it's newish.
It's newish. Okay. Well, a wood cook stove is newish. Yeah.
That is new. That is new.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She gave the information for her website, and I will put all of that in the show notes, and people can go and follow your journey.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You have a great night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope you all enjoyed that. What an inspiration Bella is to us all. You can find a link to her blog in the show notes, and I hope that you are able to go and subscribe to her blog and watch her as she continues to grow her skills as a budding homesteader. And that is it for this podcast. Grow where you're planted.
Looking around, I finally see I think I need a change. The rat race, I wanna flee. My world, I'll rearrange. I'm getting back to the roots of how it's meant to be. Growing gardens, picking fruit, racing livestock, living free. It's a modern homestead. Build a modern homestead. A lot of folks don't understand why I wanna live this way. They've never eaten from their land like we do here every day. Snapping beans like Grandma did, sitting on her front porch. Hunting and fishing like a kid once you've done all of your chores. It's a modern homestead. Build a modern homestead. Country or city, there's a way to make this change. You gotta start today.